I'm going to stream on YouTube and Reddit this morning. And what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of tardigrades. I keep this slot in my garage, and it's kind of cool during the night. Maybe gets into the 60s, maybe into the high 50s. And I noticed that a lot of my tardigrades, or almost all of them, seem to be sleeping or hibernating or something. So it's going to be interesting to see if these come back, start moving around now that I got them under this light in a warmer room and under the light. And I'm going to go ahead and start Reddit also. So let's see, give me a second here. And I'm going to get my coffee. There's my R pan. So there's a tardigrade just kind of laying there. I don't think he's dead. So, but let's just see. There's actually two of them right there, a big one and a little one. So let's see what happens when they start to wake up. All right, animals on Reddit. So let's do this. I'm gonna give a brief description on Reddit. Yeah, that one does have eggs. Looks like it's got two eggs in it, Tracy, at least two. So that one has eggs in it. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to explain on Reddit real quick. I have all my tardigrades on this slide. Most of them seem to be sleeping at this point. I just took it out of a dark room, a garage, which was probably in the low 60s, and it was completely dark all night. So let's see what happens with these tardigrades, see if they start moving around now that they're under this light. And that one does seem to have two eggs in it. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna get my coffee. Microwave coffee. If you hear me gulping coffee, excuse me. Let's go ahead and just watch and see if these two start moving. I'll move around a little bit. I don't want to dwell on a dormant creature, especially on Reddit. People get bored, but let's see if we can spot any movement on this guy right here. So let's see. So you can see the eggs in her. I said, God, look, okay, there goes. I don't think she's moving. I think that cyanobacteria is pushing. Something's pushing. Or maybe even the water's flowing a little bit in this big slide. So let's see what happens. So every once in a while, and looks like that smaller one might have, well, I can't tell, smaller eggs in it. I'm not sure. Surely this big one right here, it definitely has, which you could definitely see two eggs in this one. So let's just see if this, now this is a LED light, so it doesn't get hot. But let's see if the light wakes them up here. So I'm going on about 5 minutes with no motion here. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and see. You're gonna wake up. Actually, two of them on here. And there's a bunch of other ones nearby sleeping on. That's a rotifer right there. See, here's another one sleeping with eggs. And I say sleeping, I have no idea. Uh-oh. This one has an amoeba sneaking up on it. Well, it looks like the amoeba's going the other way. So, and if you look at that amoeba right there, oh, did the foot move? Let me show you something real quick in this amoeba. Look in the amoeba. What do you see inside the amoeba? you see one of these cyanobacteria moving along with it. I think it engulfed that cyanobacteria. So that's pretty cool. Which one did the foot move on? Somebody on YouTube said the foot moved on this one right here. Yeah, the big one? Okay. Look at the rotifers waking him up. Okay, let's see here. They won't let him rest in peace. Yeah, the bottom of the two. Okay, let's see. So let's keep an eye on this one. So they're telling me on YouTube that this one, this big one right here moved a foot. So let move this little foot. So let's see what happens here. I'll go back and forth between the other one. And see if we can wake these up. Anyway, while they're still like this, you can get some good, detail because they're still. And you can see the eye right there, the top right. This has got to have something to do with, with the coolness of the garage and the darkness of the garage, because how can they all, I doubt they're all dead at the same time. They gotta be in some kind of dormant phase, overnight. There's one right there. And there's a little amoeba roaming around. It's got some, this is kind of crazy because notice inside that amoeba, it's got some cyanobacteria that it engulfed. So it actually had a meal of cyanobacteria. That's the first time I ever seen one eat something that was inanimate. Like usually, from what I see, they like to get creatures more than. But that is bacteria. So I guess in the amoeba world, it's eating what it has to eat. This one's still motionless. There's the amoeba. Who was here yesterday when that amoeba was trying to eat that big rotifer? That was cool. Go look at that video. I'm drinking coffee, so if you hear me swallowing. So this is an amoeba at about 700x, maybe about 500. It's 150 optical and the rest is digital, so that's why you're getting this grainy looking low res picture here. And amoeba's coming over here to these guys. Now he's turning up. Oh, look, here's one. Now, this one was sleeping a few minutes ago. So this one's moving around a little bit. So let's keep an eye on these two. Hey, Deep. Let's keep it. What I'm doing is trying to wake up these 3 tardigrades right here. That one right there. They all seem to have went to sleep overnight in my garage. And that's an amoeba. The other day, I pulled one of my hairs out of my head and put it on this top of this slide, and so people could see, so you could see the. Yeah, I mean, that's where they live in the garage, but it got a little cool over the last few days, and it was cool last night. When I say cool, that garage probably got into the 60s. And when I took the slide out today, uh, they all seem to be a little dormant. This one right here was also, but he's moving good now, so he's waking up. This, somebody said a few minutes ago they saw this move his leg, so this one has 2 eggs inside of him, at least 2. There might be more. Look, you can see this one right here. It's sleeping, but notice this. Notice the inside of him, that cytoplasm, I guess you would say. It's not blood. I just saw it moving. So let's see if that does anything. Let's see if he's trying to wake up. It looks like he's got his mouth open, huh? Look. So I don't want to get too boring here, but we'll come back to him in a minute. Here's the one that woke up already. Oh, this might be another one. So for first-time viewers, this is what they look like when they're awake. So this is a tardigrade. You know, they were pretty much. I didn't see a moving one on here 10 minutes ago. Now I got a couple of them moving around. So waking up. Make it a little brighter. Let me put the light on. Let me really put some light on them. Wake up. There's this one. And let's see. Still no big movement out of these two. I have another one over here. This one's pretty still also. Oh, now I think what we see. Oh, look, there he goes. Look at that foot. All right, there you go. This one's waking up. Wake up. There you go. So you're seeing a tardigrade coming back from a sleep. Perfect. How you like that? So this one, I've been looking at this one for 14 minutes, back and forth, and this one looks like he's coming around. So that's pretty cool. So we know now that they do sleep. Look, he's stretching. I swear it does look like he's stretching. Oh, there you go. Look, now this one's. So about 15 minutes after putting them in the light from the garage, they all start moving. So it took about 15 minutes. So there you go. I am alive. So that was that's a pretty good experiment there. So 15 minutes, and tomorrow maybe I'll see if I can repeat it. So I know After 15 minutes of light, 3 of them came back to moving around. There's one right there still out. But this one is waking up with eggs, so. That was a pretty good experiment. That worked out pretty good. Yeah, this light right here doesn't. It's a LED light, and even though it's going through a little lens at the bottom, no, it doesn't put out any heat. I mean, at least that I can feel, you know. But if you're talking, you know, a quarter of a degree, that might be a lot for these creatures. So, in theory, all light puts out heat. So, yes, it's putting out heat, but to you and me, I'm touching the light right now, my fingers, and I'm not feeling a thing. so, so all light puts out heat. You know, it's just no way it all transfers to light. It's got to heat up a little bit. So you figure, yeah, it did, but I don't think it would be perceptible on this slide. You know, it could be wrong. There's no way for me to test it because to see these things, well, you know what? I could bring them out of the garage one day and just put them in a lit up room with no light underneath them for 15 minutes and just see if they start moving. Then you would know if it was the heat or the light doing it. That thing right there is I forgot what that's called. It's a hydro hydrotrich. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hydrotrich. But that one looks like it's got some kind of deformity or something. They're usually longish. You know, usually a little long. See, they usually look like that. So they usually look like that right there. The hydrotrich. So you got another tardigrade. See, this one's moving around real good. This one's starting to move around. And this one right here is still sleeping. So let's see what happens. Lord Wind, hello. Hydrotrich, right here. I swear that one looks like one that just didn't develop correctly and is having a hard time. Tardigrade said, what you doing in my territory? So we were watching these. It took about 15 minutes for these to reanimate and come back to life. So, and they wasn't in a dried out stage. It looked like they were just sleeping from being in a cold garage, cold dark garage all night. So that's strange. I mean, I've seen them wake up before, but this time we actually had a time frame on them. It looked like after about 15 minutes under this light, they all started coming back. Except that little one. Let's see what happens with this one right here. Get some more coffee. here is the microwave. Yesterday I had an amoeba on here. Who was here yesterday when the amoeba was trying to eat that giant rotifer? That was insane. Go watch that video if you can. What made me get interested in microscopic? Well, I mean, I've always been interested. My dad got me a toy microscope way back in the 70s, and it was a real toy. You know, it was plastic, but you could put stuff under it. You could put some salt under it. You know, you could put a drop of water under it. It was real rudimentary, but when you have a toy microscope that probably costs $8 in the day, and you could put a drop of mud under it and see stuff moving, kind of got me interested in it. And then I just went on to get a biology degree. So those little things can change people. Like, he also got me a cheap toy telescope that you could look at the moon with, and now I got a nice telescope too. I do astrophotography. You know, over the years, I mean, it took me, you know, I've been working since the 80s, and when I got out of college, I saved some money. I bought me a decent telescope. I don't have real expensive things, but, you know, although he's waking up. But I had enough to buy me a decent telescope and a decent microscope. Look at, all right, so he's walking all over this one right here. So let's see if he wakes this tiny one up. Get up, get up. How rude. Look at him, he's on his rock. That little thing right there is a grain of dirt. So basically he's on a grain of dirt. That's what that is. So he's sitting on that dirt. He's disturbing this other one. This is pretty cool, on a merry-go-round. The sleeping one saying, "Will you please leave me alone? I'm trying to sleep." And that big one does have eggs in it, so. Let's see, did he wake up that other one yet? Oh, he's just crawling all over him. Sinking his claws in him. Get off of me. Oh, now I saw the other one move his paws. So let's see what happens here. You can actually see the eye spots on this one, so that's pretty cool. Look at that. That little triangle thing in his jaw right there, that's how they eat. It pokes stuff. All right, so this one, he woke him up. It looks like he's starting to move his... Yep, he woke him up. You can see the eggs in this one. See that right there? Those 2 eggs. This one looks like it might have a whole bunch of undeveloped eggs inside. I'd have to watch him for a couple of days though. Let me put on a black and white filter here. So if you look in black and white, you can see those eggs. That's the first time I've ever seen that donut shape though. Not sure what that's all about. So now all 4 of them that we were looking at came back to life after sleeping. So they were sleeping for 15 minutes. Oh, did this one go back to sleep? Why you went back to sleep, you dummy? Wake up. See if they all went. Okay, that one is moving around. That's a rotifer right here. If you were with me yesterday, go look at that video of the amoeba trying to eat the rotifer. It is awesome. The amoeba grabbed onto his foot and actually climbed up and had him all engulfed, had him all in there, and then he got away. So that's a rotifer. That's a multicellular animal, just like the tardigrades. If you just hear, that's an amoeba right here. See how the amoeba's moving? That's an amoeba. This is a tardigrade. Doop, 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 doop. And then we had this tardigrade right here. The big one looks like he went back to sleep. So that's the first time I ever seen one wake up, roam around, and then go back to sleep. So that was interesting. So that one went back to sleep. This one stayed up and is moving around. That's an amoeba at the bottom, right there. Tardigrade, water bear, moss piglet, right here. I was just checking my messages on YouTube, my chats. So this one right here, there's a big one and a little one right here. He actually was moving around. He was sleeping. Then he started moving around. And then he went back to sleep. And there's a smaller one underneath him. Or her. Because that big one has eggs. And that little one's holding on to a little clump of one little dirt grain. Like he might be going back to sleep too. That is strange. Well, we've seen something I never saw before, so that's pretty cool. So here's one a little more active here. Going toward the amoeba. There's an amoeba right there, that yellow thing, and here's an amoeba right there, that yellow thing. So you got an amoeba and a water bear on here. And see the amoeba, look, see how it's going around, branching in two? Usually that's how they try to eat. They'll branch around a particle and try to engulf it, but he looks like he's just on the move. Yeah, go look at that video yesterday. It was great. The video of that tardigrade, the amoeba trying to eat that rotifer. It almost got it too. Almost got it. So you can see the size difference in this one and that other one. So you can see how the amoeba moves with pseudopods, false feet. It just cytoplasmic streaming. It just pushes cytoplasm, and you can see it's got a belly full of cyanobacteria. Got some in the front, it's got a big hunk in the back. So it's well fed. So this is 150x. If you look, see these things right here? All those these things that look like little boulders, those are grains of dirt, little grains of dirt. So you can see how small things are. If that's a grain of dirt, then these things are really small. See the rotifer right here? And these are filter feeders. They just spin those cilia, they just spin those hairs, and stuff goes inside them. You can see this one's got a green belly. See all that green stuff in there? So you know it's healthy because it's been getting all this algae. So these are pretty healthy specimens here. Yesterday I had my hair. Somebody wanted me to put a human hair on here to see how big these were. And I can do it again. You let this, go try to pull a hair out of my head. And if you look, watch, these rotifers, they tend to live in colonies. Well, I shouldn't say that, but there's two more water, but they're all waking up now. So watch this. Let me see if I can get to the edge of the slide here. There's some water tardigrade eggs right there on the side. Let's see. Pretty much all that's on here. Well, I shouldn't say it's all because there's a lot of stuff in here. Amoebas, tardigrades, and rotifers. There's a couple of worms on here also. This is moss right here. This is where you find the tardigrades. If you pull this up from your sidewalk in the shaded sidewalk, and that green stuff that grows on it, that's what it looks like under the microscope. And tardigrades, this is where I find most of my tardigrades, when I pull this stuff up and mix it with some water, things like that. I'm gonna make a video maybe this weekend. Somebody had asked me for a video of how I find tardigrades. So, and you can see these look like big forests, but these are small. So. I'm just going back to the other side of the slide. This is down below. This is kind of what you'd consider the bottom of the slide, where a lot of this stuff collects. So you can see how small these things are. Those boulders down there, those are actually grains of dirt, like 1, 2, 3, 4 grains of dirt. So if you think if that's dirt, if that's a grain of sand or dirt, well, now you know how small these things are. Those are hydrotrich. I think I'm saying that right. Hydrotrich. And here's a little tardigrade. So I've been on for about 35 minutes. I'm gonna go about 45 minutes today, and I got some things to do. So unless YouTube or Reddit picks up, I'm gonna head out in about 5, 10 minutes. Hey, the executioner. There you go. Finding any cool creepy crawlies, monkey. I mean, today, I have 3 slides that I've been using for a month. Oh, as a matter of fact, today is 4 weeks. 4 weeks ago today is when I got these tardigrades. So I've been having these alive on the same slide for 4 weeks. So that's an accomplishment. So there you go. So yeah, and when I first turned this on today, all these tardigrades were sleeping. I'm gonna say sleeping. They wasn't moved. They were kind of curled up, and it took about 15 minutes for them all to start moving. So if you want, go back and look at that video. Go to YouTube if you're gonna watch it. You'll get a little clearer picture of it. Well, his official name is a tardigrade. His unofficial name, nobody named him yet. So. Yeah, if somebody, I'm not sure. I have tens of thousands of subscribers on Reddit, well, thousands for sure. But when I go live, I get a trickle in, but not too many. So I'm not sure how Reddit works with notifications. There's an amoeba right there. So this amoeba is, you could see he's underneath. See this stuff, this green algae, that's floating on top, and the amoeba's underneath it. So he's a little obstructed there. That's why. Yeah, well, as far as new amoebas, they all been on here, so I don't have any new ones, but I'm finding them. That's for sure. Like that's one right there, moving around, and if I think you were here yesterday when that amoeba was trying to eat that rotifer, that was pretty brutal, but the rotifer got away. And you can see that definitely looks like some rudimentary eggs in there that just aren't mature yet. Those living around there, that's a type of algae, I believe. And tardigrades will eat those, supposedly. I just never seen one get one before. So I don't have the exact name of that algae. I'm gonna have to find out. That moving algae. It starts with a C. Ah. Rotifer coming into the picture. So you got a rotifer, a hydrotrich right there with his buzzsaw on his face, and 2 tardigrades. So this slide is kicking. Yeah, it's Rotifer. I talk funny, so it's the way I say it, Rotifer. If you listen to how I say it, you'd say Rotafa, Rotifer, Rotifer. But it's really Rotifer, Rotifer. So don't listen to me. Rotifer. That's what I call them. I see this dark thing right here. When things are out of focus, see, so that's a big piece of moss right there, floating. So you can see how this gets, things can get. Now, tardigrades like moss, so be interested to see if that tardigrade hooks onto that big giant piece of moss. Yeah, they're having a party today. There's a ton of things on here. I was just seeing if I got any messages, any chats on YouTube. So you could see rotifers are multicellular animals, just like the tardigrade, and that's why they're so big. That's actually a big one right there. So this one is just, I don't know if I've seen young ones, and it looks like that they, this is probably a youngster right here. Yeah, you can see their claws on their feet, especially when you have a big one. You don't have to zoom in as much. But even on this little one, on YouTube, you could probably see it a little better. But yeah, you could see their clawed feet. There's the amoeba. All right, gang. I'm gonna go about 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I might come back later this afternoon, but since it's Friday, but we'll see. I just have a couple of things to do this morning. Dun, 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 dun. So let's see what else I got on here. There's another one. There's two of them. Let's see what these two are doing. That one to the right is sleeping. I think that's that one that fell back asleep earlier. Oh, he's moving his little foot. So you can see that one moving really slow, just either just waking up or just going to sleep. Yeah, YouTube Skid 987, that's it. So on live YouTube, you definitely get a little sharper picture, and maybe even on the completed video when it updates, you get a sharper video also on YouTube. And here's a big one that's moving out. Doop, 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 doop. And Reddit's strange. Sometimes Reddit just depends on whoever the popular video is, They hold all the viewers, and pretty much until they go offline, and then the next one up pops up. But Reddit, they got to do something because it once you get to that first video, it's a chore to go to the next one and the next one. And then, when you come back, you always go to that first one. So Reddit's kind of strange. I'm about to go about another minute, and then I'm gonna head out, and that'll be 45 minutes. And you can see this one is moving a little slow here. Looks like he's coming out of his slumber. I don't know. They don't talk to each other. I'm sure they do. I mean, they have a nervous system, rudimentary nervous system. They have brains. They have eyes. Some species mate. So yeah, I guess they can communicate. In a sense, they don't communicate by telling one, you go around this way and I'll go around this way and we'll get that algae in the middle. They don't. I don't think they communicate like that. All right, gang, I'm gonna call it a day. Well, maybe not a day. I'll try to come back a little later this afternoon. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna end Reddit first, and then I'm gonna end YouTube. So thanks, Executioner. Who else is on here? Monkey. Who else? A couple people on Reddit. So thanks for watching. Come back later. Surely this weekend I'll be on. Maybe Saturday and Sunday might be on in the evening instead of in the morning. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye. See you later, Liz. Thanks for watching.